Things are really humming along at Google, which produced amazing third quarter results. The stock is over $1,000 a share, but maybe it's a little boring.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like you achieve all your dreams, and what do you do? Well, for Google, the question is, it's always about what comes next, and it seems like there are signs of that. Larry Page, the CEO, said, he's not going to appear in other earning calls. Probably won't appear in many earnings calls from now because he has to prioritize his time. And then he also said, well, we spend some money on these crazy projects like internet access for people in Africa with balloons, self-driving cars,
right?
Researching longevity. And he's saying, well, actually, you should encourage us to spend more money on this stuff because we're having trouble spending enough money on these kind of crazy things.
This is a bit of a luxury problem, but also a potential pitfall, right?
I mean, it is a luxury problem, and you can see, Google has this great and quite productive scattergun approach, right? They'll try anything. And the problem is, these early stage things, it's difficult to spend that much money in the context of a company worth multiple hundred billions of dollars. Right, Apple has the same problem, but in a much narrower area. It's not clear where they're going to spend all their money.
Well, Apple's focus is clear. Google,
so
they let their engineers kind of go do anything.
So really. The danger here, you can always get more engineers to do more fun stuff, but it's going to, gratification is by definition delayed with all these things. And you have all this money, all this cash floating around, all this profit throwing off. Are you going to start spending a lot of money on acquisitions?
And we've already seen it once with Motorola as sort of the clearest example of it.
And it's been really bad acquisition for Google because the losses just continue to mount.
That's the one bad sign in the results. We should talk a little bit about the results, which were really strong.
The results are great. Sales, if you take the internet sales, are up about over 20%. Sales overall are about 12%.
I mean, the big question has been about fewer people. The price for clicks for ads is going down because they're cheaper on mobile. But
the price per click went down 8%, but the amount of clicks went up 23%. That's a combination any company will take any day.
Right.
It means that they're getting more revenue, and that's floating down to the bottom line. Revenue is up
the
over
one
20%.
blight is Motorola.
Motorola, which is, to be fair, is actually kind of a small blight for the company because the other business is just so big at this point, and the Motorola is shrinking by the day, so it's becoming a smaller problem. The danger, of course, is that the company will he acknowledged in the call, Page acknowledged in the call that self-driving cars, it will become a reality. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a very long time, longer than people expect.
But let's just say with Motorola, we know acquisitions the possibility of big acquisitions is a red flag because they're not that easy, especially when there are cultural differences and all the rest of it. It is still somewhat early days with Motorola for Google. They could still produce a killer piece of hardware, handset, phone, tablet, whatever, from that acquisition, but right now it's looking like it's a drain, not a huge one in Google context, but a drain. But I guess the question is, are there other big acquisitions they might do, and that they could also be drains, certainly short term, potentially long term as well.
All right, we'll leave it there. We will see how patient Google can be, and we'll be back with more breaking views next week.